Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Welcome back to another episode of Building the Perfect Call of Duty, a series in which I take bits and pieces of every Call of Duty, slice them together into my own personal perfect Call of Duty. This week, we are going to be tackling the controversial issue of footsteps. Like everything else, like every other Building the Perfect Call of Duty video, we must first begin with the end in mind. We must first think about what is our ultimate goal when implementing or not implementing footsteps. Now, we've done most of these goal-oriented little sections of video for everything, but I feel like this one is going to be a lot more complex than the rest because footsteps and the dynamic of hearing people in game is a lot more complex than the other things, than weapon balance and all that sort of stuff. And the most broad way I can say this is I want footsteps to be implemented in such a way that the dynamic of hearing people is a skill and using that sound is a skill as well. The past couple Call of Duties have been pretty much awful at this, even including Call of Duty Ghost, in which it was the other way. When you take a look at Black Ops 2, and Advanced Warfare, they all have terrible sound. Black Ops 1 not so much compared to Black Ops 2 and Advanced Warfare. Black Ops 2 was really just laughable because you had Dead Silence and Amplify in there and they did nothing. You can run those perks all day long, you're still not going to hear anything unless you're getting tiptoed right behind, and even then it's really not practical at all. Advanced Warfare, same exact thing. You cannot hear anything in that game. You can hear guns and everything, and the sound design in terms of ranking up is cool and such, but in terms of where people are, no chance, absolutely no chance whatsoever. Call of Duty Ghost, exact opposite, too easy, very, very easy. It's hard, it's terrible for me to admit, but it is very, very easy in Call of Duty Ghost. I believe Ghost is probably the closest thing we've had. It's basic, it's the most basic way of going about it. We're not dealing with Modern Warfare 3's Sitrep Pro deal and Dead Silence and who does what, but Call of Duty Ghost had two separate perks. You had one to increase volume, one to decrease your own volume, and that was it. That is the most simplistic way, and that's the way we're going to tackle it today. Before I get to you my reasoning behind everything, I'm just going to tell you straight up, I believe that the Call of Duty Ghost sound should be implemented without Amplify, and that's it. I think that would be alright. Also, there was an added effect to Amplify in that it made your friendly footsteps quiet. If that was just moved to Dead Silence, that would be perfectly fine. So you had one perk called Dead Silence that would silence you and your friendly footsteps, at least, from your own perspective, and that would be fine. Not only that, but that also decreases the ease, the distance, the volume of the enemy footsteps. This means that you cannot hear people. I know on Ruins especially, it was incredibly easy and it was almost annoying how easily you could hear people. I could hear people 10, 20 feet below me, 10 feet to my right. I can hear them. I can understand what gun they're using, what attachments they're using. If you saw my recent dissecting video on Gold Rush with the Honey Badger, I was able to tell what gun somebody was using just by hearing it, and it was silenced, and that is okay. But if I can hear their footsteps from like 50 feet away, that's probably not the best in terms of skill. That usually means that the perk becomes a crutch perk and that's all you rely on, and you don't really need a mini-map anymore, and that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid that dependence on that one thing. It's a skill, it's an asset, it's like your mini-map. You use it and it's vital, and it's a very key part of the game that you don't want to neglect. Treyarch in Advanced Warfare, but it shouldn't be the reason for your success. The big fear that everybody has with footsteps is that people are going to hide in a corner and just wait for you to run by. Now, this is a very inapt way of describing the dynamic of footstep. It's a very lazy way and it's a very immature way. You're not thinking it through. There are perks, there are multiple ways around your own footsteps. You can crouch, you can aim down sights, you can even walk. Walking is terribly difficult to hear, even with Amplify on in Call of Duty Ghost. If you're walking and I have Amplify and you don't, again, it's pretty difficult for me, at least personally, to hear you. I can hear you when you're running, like, I can hear that easily with Amplify when you're running like an idiot around the corner, but if you're walking, that's not so much. And if you're aiming down sights, like I just said, walking like a good, beautiful person, you are going to be heard a lot less. Not to mention, there is one single perk that counters it. That's it. Simple, done and over with. You slap on Dead Silence, run in the enemy spawn, do whatever you want to do. You can flip spawns all day long. You be that bad teammate that flips spawns all the time. But really, that's no big deal. And when I say that, and when you hear that, I bet you're thinking donuts. Isn't this just going to be like toughness? Isn't this just going to be like low profile? And I understand that. And that's my personally biggest fear about this. My biggest fear is that I am going to need to run Dead Silence all the time. However, if we give this a chance, if we give this a shot, I don't necessarily think that is the case. I don't know if it will be the case because ultimately we've never had a good, solid, balanced sound whoring system in Call of Duty. Well, I guess maybe some of the earlier Call of Duties, maybe even Modern Warfare 3 with the perk system, how that was handled, it was sort of balanced, but I digress. My fear is that I'm going to need to have Dead Silence on all the time. However, there is a saving grace, and it was what I said at the very first part. There is no amplify. There's no amplify whatsoever. Your footsteps are going to be one default volume. What that volume is, it's going to be hard to tell. It's going to be tweaked. It's going to need to be tweaked, in my opinion, because if it's too loud, then you get the amplify, and it is necessary. If it's too quiet, then you're Black Ops 2, and you're rubbish, you're terrible, you're garbage. It's useless. However, with this decreased volume, it also decreases the range, so it's a little bit more realistic. You're not hearing people 4 stories down you, trampling the ground. Is that even a word? Trampling the ground as if they're right behind you. No, it's going to be a little bit more intricate than that. You're going to need to pay a little bit more attention to the sounds that are going on, like you have to pay attention to your mini-map. And with that decreased range, it opens up your options and creator class slots when you run an assault rifle or a light machine gun or a sniper rifle especially. In my perfect Call of Duty, you do not need Dead Silence on a sniper rifle. You should not be, well, I guess you should be moving and flanking around a lot, but you shouldn't be next to the person. You shouldn't be hugging the person like you would be able to hear their footsteps, if that perfectly makes sense. And in my personal opinion, this is the perfect balance. You don't need Dead Silence on long range builds, but on builds like shotguns and SMGs, when you definitely are going to be running in the enemy spawn where they're camping, you should need to run Dead Silence. Like, you should need to run Quick Draw and Ready Up and Sleight of Hand and those types of reactive perks. That is perfectly balanced. And if we are completely honest with ourselves, the time, especially me, the time when I sound whore the most is not when my teammates are spawning around me and I'm camping in the back. No, that is when I'm sniping. That's when I'm looking at long lines of sight. When I'm camping, I'm not paying attention to what I hear. When I am rushing, when I am in the enemy spawn, that is when I hear the most footsteps. That is when the sound design is most crucial to me, not when I'm camping in a corner. And with that, I'm going to let you beautiful people comment below and let me know, what are your thoughts on the footstep system? I know this is so controversial. There's so many different solutions to this that can be really complicated. I think this is a very beautifully simplistic solution to this, and I would honestly be intrigued and interested on how this would actually play out if I were king. And so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next absolutely beautiful Call of Duty morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always,
good job.
Have a great day.
Report to command for debrief.
38 and 4. How
How does it feel to just sit there the whole map? Does that feel good? Is that fun? I hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you enjoyed that one sight line.